The housing market has been greatly impacted, with affordability reaching its lowest point in 4 decades. Rising mortgage rates have put a strain on home buyers across the country. This development has significant implications for real estate investors, property owners, and the general American population. It represents a game-changing shift that will transform the landscape of real estate investing. Currently, a significant issue is unfolding in the housing sector. To provide some context, this statement was made on November 18th. The housing crisis is persistently burdening working families, perpetuating a cycle of poverty, as highlighted by Powell. Without access to stable housing and affordable rent, individuals find it nearly impossible to escape unemployment or establish a financial safety net that protects them from eviction and homelessness. Alexandra has pointed out that the United States is struggling with a shortage of at least 4 million homes, with 2 million of them being affordable units desperately needed in specific regions. Responding to this crisis, the Biden administration has proposed a 5-year plan to increase the housing supply. However, Alexandra believes that more aggressive measures are required, asserting that the housing crisis will continue until millions of new homes are constructed. Nonetheless, the government can implement policies to mitigate the situation. One such approach involves the federal program established by Congress and overseen by the Federal Housing Finance Agency, FHFA, which supports around 12 million rental units through backing from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. This program encompasses the provision of mortgages and home loans nationwide. Notably, the People's Action Home Guaranteed Campaign reports that the FHFA supervises $150 billion in financing for landlords every year, accounting for approximately 25% of all multifamily dwellings. After tireless advocacy efforts by tenants and housing justice groups, the Biden administration is now reviewing a proposal endorsed by influential lawmakers. This proposal aims to leverage the FHFA's authority by introducing rent controls and additional tenant protections to federally financed home loans. Such a development would be a significant victory for the Homes Guaranteed campaign, which advocates for the establishment of a national renters' bill of rights. Earlier this year, the White House released a blueprint for this legislation, following extensive research conducted in collaboration with economists and lawmakers. The efficacy of rent regulations, how they interact with housing supply, and various other factors were studied. Based on this research, it was determined that the most effective approach to rent regulation in this context would be to impose a cap of 3% annual rent increases on all properties backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. The average property price in America is currently $416,000. If someone were to buy a property with the intention of renting it out, taking into account today's interest rates and a 20% down payment of $83,000, the monthly mortgage payment would amount to $3,500. While there are individuals who earn $10,000 per month and can comfortably afford this expense, it no longer makes financial sense for most people to purchase properties for rental purposes due to the current interest rates. However, the situation becomes even more interesting when we consider that institutional investors are predicted to own 40% of all single-family rental homes in the next 6 years. Numerous sources, including Unusual Wells, MetLife, and MoneyWise, have echoed this prediction made by institutional investors. Even prestigious platforms such as Multifamily Dive, Yahoo Finance, and CNBC have confirmed this shift. It's clear that significant changes are on the horizon. When these properties are purchased with all-cash transactions, they are no longer bound by the same rules and guidelines that affect traditional mortgage-based purchases. This means that institutional investors will have even more control and influence over the housing market. On the other hand, individuals who purchase properties for alternative purposes such as Airbnb rentals or second homes will be most impacted by this shift. Now let's examine the current scenario. Home insurance costs have skyrocketed, with an average increase of 21% from May 2022 to May 2023. Furthermore, property taxes have surged, rising by 4% across the United States in 2022. In Miami alone, single-family property tax rates jumped a staggering 12.6% between 2021 and 2022. As a result, the cost of owning these properties will continue to rise, while the income generated from them will remain relatively stagnant. This will force many landlords to relinquish their properties.